I went from like crazy, crazy child with a lot of trauma on his shoulders to like a very meek teenager, where everybody else was like the complete opposite. That was their time to run amok, and they're full of hormones and going crazy. It was like I kind of had that 10 years ago. I'm kind of just very reserved and in my teenage years, but yeah. And then I like started walking, and I was like a waiter, bar back, as you guys call it in America. And then I worked my way up to bartender. So I was like, I was pulling pints of beer before I could legally drink. So yeah, that was kind of fun. So I've been a few different kind of professions and never really found my place. You know, it was just kind of it was a job. But I was watching Owen before we went live here, and it was like just fucking enjoy what you want to do. Like, don't strive for something that's out of reach. Like, just enjoy what you're doing now, and just put your best in, and be grateful for it, and work your ass off. And I'm working now from home doing telecommunications, and it's good. I get to be with the dogs all day and just serve people. So it's quite nice. It beats being out in the field with a shovel you know in the minus temperatures. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So as you were growing up and, as a teenager, maybe as you got older, bartending or anything like that, did you have any spiritual awakenings or did you feel like that, or did that happen later, if at all?
Well, we got our school was like next door to a church. So I think every Thursday we go over to the church, and there'd be some sort of mass, but you were being taken with the school, and you kind of memorize the masses. The responses, what's gonna be said. It kind of became predictable. But then later on in my teenage years, I thought I was an atheist without really understanding what that meant. But now, touching 40, I'm thinking like, no, I was angry at God while trying to be an atheist, where an atheist is somebody that doesn't believe in God.
Is
So I was
angry
kind
at
of
God.
mixed up. I was kind of mixed up a little bit, and I was like, am I angry at my dad? Am I angry at God, even though I'm thinking God doesn't exist? I was like, nah, you're just several shades of confused. You don't know what you want. So I went through a tough time then in 2019. Relationship kind of broke up, and I found myself um, just trying to connect with trying to connect with myself, and I kind of reached out to God in my head, and thought and prayer and stuff like that. And that was the first time, and I think a lot of people went through the same kind of thing, looking for good conversation and somebody to watch, somebody that would tell the truth. I got sick of the lies and things like that. Trying to find something to, you know, somebody to watch, somebody to look up to. And I think a lot of us went through looking at, Joe Rogan and Tim Pool and Crowder and things like that. And I just found, there's something off about these guys, especially Rogan. He would jump his beliefs each week, depending on the person that's sitting across from him. I don't like this. So it was kind of like the algorithm or something like that. I'm not sure, but I actually think I went looking for new comedy because I really enjoy comedians, and I found one of Owen's specials. I was like, I like this guy. I like the music that he's playing, the quirky little songs and things like that. So, and then it was just kind of, I think it was the algorithm that I found him on YouTube, and I connected with a few bears on YouTube, and there was a lot of spiritual talk and things like that. And me as a like what I thought was an atheist, I actually gave it a chance because I enjoyed the content. And I was like, I didn't judge people going like, oh, these fucking churchians, this is going to drive me away. I actually sat and listened and had a conversation with a couple of people, and it was one thing that one guy said, and I kind of reflected back on my own life and my own hurt, and I kind of begged God for forgiveness of you know you know sorry for not believing in you, which led to me not believing in myself, and just kind of yeah, and here I am now. It's just kind of like even my friend said it. It's just like you fucking hated God all these years, and now you're coming back saying, you know, you're speaking about God and thinking about God, and it's like, yeah, but like we can change. Like you don't have to be the same thing your whole life. So
Absolutely.
I'm open to it, but yeah, I still don't know my place. I tried to go to church and different things, especially here. I don't understand the language. And I went to church, and all of the altar children had masks, and the priest didn't have a mask, and I was like, so I'm watching the theater of it, not understanding what they're saying, and I was like, I don't like this, and I'm looking around at all the iconography and the artwork, and to hear Owen talking about this now, I was in that mindset then, sitting there going, I don't like this. Like they claim to love Jesus Christ, but they're showing him being murdered on the wall, and it's just this is creepy. And I used to say that, like, if your brother was dying of cancer or something like that, would you take a photograph of him in his worst moment and show that around? This is my brother. Would you not? Would you not show him at his best and celebrate his life rather than his death?
Yeah.
Some churchians don't want to hear that. That's the whole basis of their whole religion is the death and the resurrection. It's like, but yeah, but there's so much more. You know, some of them
Because
can't.
they're taking it literally, and it's a
Yeah.
spiritual thing. It's a spiritual death and resurrection, which
Hmm.
we can do all the time. We can spiritually die to some old beliefs, old ideas, and
Yeah.
then spiritually resurrect to a rebirth of a new idea, of a new way of seeing things.